We'll look today briefly at a passage, starting a series of passages where Scripture says something about God being the God of, and then various attributes. Today I want to start in Exodus chapter 3, be reading the first 6 verses. Now Moses was pasturing the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. The angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire in the midst of a bush, and he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, yet the bush was not consumed. So Moses said, I must turn aside now and see this marvelous sight, why the bush is not burned up. When the Lord saw that he had turned to look, God called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not come near here. Remove your sandals from your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground. He said also, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Then Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. One of the more common uh, ways of referring to God is God says, I am the God of various places. He'll talk about Abraham, Abraham and Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And okay, so what does that mean for you and for me? How is that important? That, well, besides the fact that he is the God who has been active in history, what other importance might that have? Well, part of that, one little answer to that, can be found in the Gospel of Luke. It's also found in Matthew and Mark. But I'm going to read from Luke. And this is a event out of the life of Jesus. Now there came to him, that is Jesus, some of the Sadducees who say that there is no resurrection. And they questioned him, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies, having a wife, and he is childless, his brother should marry the wife and raise up children to his brother. Now there were 7 brothers, and the first took a wife and died childless. And the second and the third married her in the same way. All 7 died, leaving no children. Finally the woman died also. In the resurrection, therefore, which one's wife will she be? For all 7 had married her. Jesus said to them, The sons of this age marry and are given in marriage. But those who are considered worthy to attain to that age and the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. For they cannot even die any more, because they are like angels and are sons of God, being sons of the resurrection. But that the dead are raised, even Moses showed in the passage about the burning bush, where he calls the Lord the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Now he is not the God of the dead, but of the living, for all are alive to him. God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Among the many meanings or important aspects of that is that he is the God of those who have gone before and have died and are alive to him. Jesus uses this to show the Sadducees who thought they knew their scripture backwards and forward and had all this nice logical argument worked out about why there couldn't be a resurrection and this world was all there was. They deluded by their own philosophy and their own prideful thinking. But he points out, no, God calls him the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, alive right now, present. It's present tense. I am now the God of Abraham. I am now the God of Isaac. I am now the God of Jacob. They are now alive to me. And he points out there will be a resurrection, and we will have a different form. Those who have accepted Christ will have a different form No more marrying or giving in marriage. No more dying or possibility of dying. It will be a life where we live forever with God. The proof of the resurrection, scripturally, is in the fact that God is the God of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob. There's coming a day when the heartache shall come. No more clouds in the sky, no more tears to dim the eye. All is peace forevermore on that happy golden shore. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day that will be. There'll be no sorrow there, no more burdens to bear, no more sickness, no more pain, no more parting over there, and forever I will be with the one who died for me. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised